Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another podcast. Today we have Aman Kharat, and this is the first session where we are talking about PER, the practical experience requirements under ACCA. Thank you so much for coming here and taking our time. We will be delving deep into how we can log our PER into the My ACCA portal. What are the technicalities? Whether should we do articleship in Big Four firms or Indian CA firms are also good, and talking about the scope of ACCA and so on and so forth. Before we badger you with the questions that we have prepared for you, please, Aman, give a short, brief introduction so that the audience gets to know your trajectory so far.
Sure, sure. Thank you both. Thank you for giving me this platform. And yeah, definitely. So I'll start from the beginning. Okay, so I did my BCom from Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Pune. Um, Starting from second year, I started my ACCA, and this was in 2018. And at that time, Simbi did not have the exemptions for ACCA. So I am one of those unfortunates to complete the entire 13 exams. So yeah, I mean that's I completed the entire 13 exams. From there, I got placed at one of the big fours, and I moved to Bangalore from Pune. And yeah, I continued to pursue my ACCA while I was in college and while I was working. And I worked at that big four for around 2 years, 2 months, to be exact. And after that, I took a break so that I can just solely focus on the professional papers before I started to work on got started to work on the current company now, which is named Prequin. So it's a investment data management company, which kind of streamlines, processes, financial data processes. So that's what I'm currently working at. Yeah, so that's been my journey. And last year, 2023, I have completed my ACCA, and I have almost approximately around 2.5 years of experience now in total. So I will become a member soon in a few months. And yeah, that's about me. And yeah, one more thing. Professional papers I have given SBR, SBL, AFM, and APM. So yeah,
Great, great. Firstly, congratulations for clearing ACCA.
thank
I
you.
think you just become ACCA affiliate, so that's like a big thing.
Yes,
And you're soon going to become a member also, so congratulations in advance for the same.
thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah,
And by
so
the way, congratulations to both of you for reaching 10K.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Before we move ahead, just wanted to say that no symbiosis graduate would be a symbiosis graduate until he refers to symbiosis as Simbi. I joined for a little while when the
Okay.
admissions in Delhi University were uncertain, so I just wanted to secure my seat in a good college. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I joined for a brief while, and
Okay.
everyone over there is obsessed. Simbi this, Simbi that.
I agree. I
So all
agree.
those memories came flashing back to me. All right.
Okay.
So let's get started.
Sure.
Punya, do you want to
Yeah,
take up the first question? Okay.
yeah. So, like you mentioned, that you were pursuing ACCA while you were working. So, there
Mhm.
are so many students who message us that will they be able to manage their time while they are working and then do ACCA simultaneously. So, any tips for the students, or how did you manage your work life plus ACCA?
Okay. Uh, so I'll be very honest here. It was difficult
Yeah.
while working with the Big Four, especially like I was working in statutory audit as well. So it is highly known for its long hours, or long working hours. So I mean, yeah, it is difficult, but of course, it is doable. I did it. I think everyone else can. I'm quite lazy in terms of studies, so I think everyone else will able to do it. But yeah, I mean, I came across many failures in my F level exams while I was there in at the Big Four. And what I did realize is that, consistency, motivate. You have to be consistent throughout. You have to be determined. You cannot be demotivated with every failures. That failure, you have to learn from it. and work hard and also work smartly through that. Okay. So the one major thing which I brought in my life, one biggest change, was to start studying in the morning.
Okay.
So I started to become a morning person. I was never a morning person. I still am not. I still not. Okay. But yeah, I started to work in the morning, wake up early, study for 2 3 hours. That's it. But be consistent.
Yeah.
Do it every day. That's it. And over the weekends, try to study a little longer, but also don't overdo it because you need to have rest with your job. So you need to chill, you need to relax. Please go out, watch movies, spend time with your friends and families, with your pet, everyone. That should be there. For me, it was quite difficult because I did shift from Pune to Bangalore, so I was living here alone. So studying, working, and doing the chores, everything came to me. So that was one thing. It was kind of an advantage to me as well. Why? Because it kind of brought a discipline in my life. So yeah, I think you're speaking something. You're on mute. Uh,
No, no, I was just agreeing with you that
all
yeah,
right.
it is difficult, definitely.
Yeah. So then yeah, that was the major thing. It brought discipline. So yeah, we have to be disciplined. And yeah, I mean, and what I did was, like, suppose if I've given a march attempt, okay, I would give myself like a break. Go out. I love trekking. I go trekking. I go out with my friends. I just roam around. We book an Airbnb. We just go around. And after that, I would come back, create a timetable,
Okay.
and kind of adhere to it. Of course, no one adheres to the timetable, so you always have to ensure that you have to keep buffer days as well in order to cover up everything. Okay. And also, what I used to do is, since, like, I was working for a client in which I knew all the deadlines of all the work,
Hmm.
and when the work pressure will increase, when the work pressure will be decreased. So all of these I used to take into factor, create a timetable in that perspective, and also like, tell my manager that I will be giving an attempt in, suppose if I've given March, June. Okay, so in June I would apply my leaves, like, in April itself. Plan it out before it gets too stressful, so that the manager does not trouble you or anything like that. So that's one good thing that you should be doing. And then, of course, study every day, be consistent. For a few of the subjects I did self study, especially like SPR. I have self studied, but majority of my papers I have had a tutor from which I used to, like, learn. And it used to be mainly be the weekend classes. So sometimes if I'm not able to attend the weekend classes, so what I used to do, I used to watch them in bits by bits during the week in those 2 3 hours. And then, yeah, and then just study from it, make our own notes, because that's the best way to, like, understand the concepts, because the concepts is what helps you
Yeah.
pass ACCA. We cannot rot learn it, or we can't just rot learn a teacher's notes or anything like that. You have to put it in your own words, in your own understanding. That is the key to ACCA's passing paper. And another one, of course, that is like the guru mantra, you should say, revision kit. The last month of your, like, suppose if you're giving in June, May, like from beginning of end of May, start doing revision kit, start doing your past year papers diligently every day, and do it on the practice platform. You have to do it on a practice platform no matter what, because that's what can, like, improve our speed as well. And like, if your typing speed is slow, if you're not able to type fast, you can use like, in order to, yeah, answer well and hopefully pass the exam. Yeah. So initially, you see, all of this thing, I know it's kind of overwhelming with all the things, but eventually, you will get used to it. For the first week, yeah, it will be difficult. You will not able to achieve, like, you'll only able to study 1 hour. That's fine. That's why the buffer days are there. So eventually, from there, you will able to bring a discipline into your life, and then you will get used to it. So yeah.
Absolutely. You've put in a nutshell all that we advise the students to do using the platform, practicing the kit, attempting mocks, attempting past papers. All
Yeah.
of this we consistently keep. Whoever asks for advice, this is what we tell us. There is no
Mhm.
shortcut that, people would come up to us and ask for tips,
Tips.
thinking that there's some secret formula which we will tell them, and
Yeah.
knowing that thing will help them pass the exam. But all
Yeah.
we know that to clear an ACCA exam, these are the prerequisites that you should have had completed if you really want to maximize your chances at
Yes.
passing. So yeah,
Yes.
absolutely agree with you on all of
Mhm.
the points that you've mentioned. Moving ahead to the next question. So since you're already in the process of ACCA membership, can you
Mhm.
brief our audience about the whole process of it? Like, what all do we need to have and how do we log it in the My ACCA portal?
Okay. So, I mean, in order to, co- like when you are doing the exams or once you have completed the exams, you have to ensure that these three things are done. Especially for the first thing should be most important, EPSM. Okay, so in order to become a member, you have to complete this, and I would recommend that this should be completed before you start the professional exams. Why? Because it will help you, comprehend on how the P level questions, like it will help you help you understand the question and how the answers should be portrayed. That's one thing, and second thing is like there are many questions where they can ask you about the ethical implications, which can be like a what do you call, like a, not sure how to say it, but yeah, it can be like a question which doesn't usually come up, but it does come up. And then it can also help you that I don't remember if you guys remember it, like there's this mnemonic called popic. uh, there's a professional, like there's objectivity,
Yeah,
integrity.
there was. We used PyCop to remember this:
Yeah.
professionalism, integrity,
Yes, yes,
objectivity,
yes,
professional competence, and due care. Yeah,
yes,
we
correct,
used
correct, yeah.
PyCop
So
for this. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, these things I think for many of the questions we can kind of use this as an ethical implication in our answers. So it kind of helps you as well, and also helps you understand the scenario. So if there is anything wrong, how as an ACCA you will tackle that. So that's very important. So that's the first thing that you should do, EPSM, before you start with the P level. Second thing is of course the 36 months of work experience. Okay, so you have to show like this relevant work experience if you are working in an accounting firm, finance firm, assurance, tax, advisory, all of these things. It is extremely important to work in these type of firms in order to show your for at least 36 months, to get your relevant 100% finance experience. Or else what happens is that if you don't have that, and suppose if you are working on I don't know, some role where you are just working on 50% finance side and 50% some other tool, then when you go to the manager and if they put it as 50% on the PER thing, then, and if you have worked for 12 months, only 6 months will be counted. So we have to ensure that uh, like whatever work that you're doing, at least for the first 36 months, it should be relevant to accounting, finance, assurance, all of these things. Okay, and there are all, of course, two ways to achieve this: 36 months of relevant experience in a company, or and second way is 24 months of relevant experience in a company and 12 months of teaching experience. So these are like the two ways in which you can achieve this.
I never
And
knew teaching experience counts as PER.
yes, teaching does.
Okay.
And around 12 months, that's the highest it can go to. So, yeah. And then the third one would be PER. No, so, yeah, PER objectives. So, I think there are 9 objectives in which you have to complete these. So, as long as if you are working with an approved employer, you should be fine because you will be exempted. So you have to just download a PDF, and you can get that signed off by a CA, CCA, CPA from your if any of the qualifications you have which you under your line manager, you can get that signed off. But if it's not an approved employer, it's fine. You have other ways to do it, like for the each objectives you have to write some sort of paragraphs, like explaining how you have achieved that in the company, and that will get signed off. So that's also all right, anything is fine. And yeah, I mean, that's how these are the three main things that you have to look at while getting the PERs. And this, all of this is on the CCA tool. I mean, yeah, and they have all the guidance in that.
Great, great. I think you explain it really well. Even I was not very aware of how do we do it, and
Mhm.
I think now I'm confident about it because a lot of people have lot of information ki we cannot, there are myths also ki if it is not an approved employer, we cannot get a PER signed. So I think you told us that we can also get it signed until unless the firm has a qualified person who signs.
Qualified person, or yeah, I mean, you can get it, but you'll have to explain
Right.
like each objectives. It needs to get approved. It's just a longer process in order to get approved. There are chances also that it can get rejected, but then again you can reapply it and everything, and you can work on it.
Great, great, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is that it is well known that articleship which is approved by ICAI gets counted as RPER.
Yeah.
So out of the two options, working in a big four or a big company,
Hmm.
or working in like a small, medium-sized Indian CA firm, which one of them do you think is a better option for an ACCA student to start their PER from?
So for this,
It does not have to be a gray, it does not have to be a black or white answer.
Right.
We're totally asking your opinion over here because, different people
yeah.
come from different schools of thought and they're going to have different opinions about this. So, just to take a quick take on what you think about this.
Okay. I feel that the firms don't matter as long as it's related to finance, assurance, consulting, everything. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's approved or not. What matters is your job role.
Yeah.
Your job role. If it's a good job role, for example, for assurance, if you're doing it for statutory audit roles, you should ensure that you are okay with that role and that it has client interaction, because this will help you, like you'll have huge and tons of learning, especially from client interaction, how to interact with client, and how to get the work done, how to get the the supports that you need from the client, how to handle the pressure that you are getting from your with a squeeze deadline, how you will work that out, how you these are like the learning things which will help you grow, and this will help you extremely in the future, because if you can cope up with the pressure now, you'll able to cope up
Yeah.
ahead as well. And it's also better to aim for a front end role rather than a back end role.
Yeah.
So that's also another thing. So always try to ensure that if you are going for some role, no matter where it is, big four, IB, consulting, ensure that it is client facing in some way or the other, even if it's a video call. Like if they are sitting in US, UK, ensure that you are able to interact with them, you are able to ask your questions, you are able to put your thoughts there. I think that's something which is very important, because that's where you will able to grow yourself, improve your communication skills, how to handle the client, how to handle your team. If once you start growing, you start to have your own team, everything. So it's going to be very good. So this is how it starts. So it's the job role that matters, it's not the firm. So yeah.
All right. So, there are a lot of students that would probably be only pursuing ACCA and no other graduation degree,
Hmm.
or there might be people who would be pursuing graduation but it might not be the regular college going courses, it might be a correspondence degree. So
Hmm.
we all of us know that on campus the opportunities are really good. We have
Yeah.
the big fours coming up, maybe
Yeah.
big six also coming up to the
Mm.
campuses. But so how would you tell these people who are not going to regular colleges to navigate through the entire job scene and how they can possibly land up these jobs?
Okay. All right. What I would start suggesting them is that, start searching for the job which is suited to them. So if they want to go into tax, start searching for roles in tax. There are direct taxation, indirect taxation, international taxation. For assurance, statutory audit, internal audit. risk advisory is also there. Finance, you can go move into investment banking, you can go into due diligence, you can go into mergers and acquisition. I mean, there are a lot of things in consulting. I think consulting is part of due diligence. Sorry about that. But yeah, these things. So these are like the main roles that we can work at as an ACCA. So firstly, you need to research what job roles you want to go into. So you start that. From there, you need to, what you can do is from there, you can start searching on LinkedIn. Open a LinkedIn if you don't have. But if you do, start searching for the people. Like, for example, if you want to become a statutory auditor. Okay, so you would go to a person on LinkedIn, see what their skill sets are. Just apart from ACCA, what else? What other courses they have done? What are the things that they have experienced? Try to look at many of these people. Try to you can interact with them. That's also issue. That's no issues as well. People are very helpful on LinkedIn. But try to see what courses they are doing. See what the market requires for these particular roles. Do those courses, get that skill set. This will help you, set you apart from the people who have just done like ACCA. And then you'll able to sell yourself to the interviewer that just I have done ACCA, but I have also done these things. I can bring in efficiency to the company and to the processes in statutory audit, just as an example. So that's something which I would suggest. And then from there, once you have done that, start doing the courses. Make a resume. Since you are an ACCA fresher, you should only have one page of resume, not more than that. That is my mantra. One page, and that's it. And try to do as many courses as possible which is relevant to your job role. Any aggregated one, don't do it from any other websites or something. Try to do it from an aggregated one, so that when they see the CV, they should be like, okay, I know this course, this is from this particular company. That's fine, cool. And then from there, open job portals. There are so many job portals that are there: Naukri, Glassdoor, Indeed. Everywhere you open it, you put your CV in that. Okay, also when you start searching for a job, for those, ensure that you don't apply using just one resume. You have to tailor your resume for each job. So suppose if you have a job at one of the IB companies and another job in one of the big fours, you have to read through the job descriptions. You have to tailor your resume for those two job descriptions and apply for those two jobs. That's it. And try, of course, try to apply for the fresher jobs, because if they are asking for more than 1 year experience, that is somewhere we will get rejected at.
Yeah.
So freshers one, please do look out for that. Or there are internship programs that big fours and IBs, they always go put them on their websites and also on the job portals. So I know for big fours, it's usually between October and December period. That's where they want to hire fresher interns. And majorly for assurance and taxes.
Okay.
Why? Because that from January to March, April kind of is their busiest season. Yes, so in that they want interns, so that is like a very good chance for you to enter into the big four, intern there. And if you work hard and if they are impressed by you, they will give you a permanent job. There is a high chance of you getting a permanent job from them. And also, for if you're looking for finance, something like IBs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, they have summer internships.
Okay.
So summer internships, you look out for those as well. You can apply for them. ACCAs are valid. I know many people who are also working at IBs with just ACCAs, and they are doing well as well. So they have done the same process where, so they have gone through the summer internships, and then they get a permanent role after some time, once they have finished their course and everything. And yeah, and that's what. And for all these internships and jobs, ensure that you work on your interview skills. That is like a must, because that gets you like a higher chance of getting your job, and even a higher salary can be negotiated. So I mean, yeah.
Great. I think you answered it well. So the next thing is that, in the students community, a lot of students or the people are of the belief that ACCA doesn't have any scope in India because it is mainly an international qualification and not specific to Indian qualification. So what are your views upon this? Like, how do you suggest students to go about this and not think about that does ACCA have scope in India or no?
See, I wouldn't call ACCA like a limited scope kind of a thing. I would call it a niche course, personally.
Right.
Okay. Why is because there are jobs that require just ACCS, and we would have that knowledge. I think our domain knowledge would be IFRS. I
Yeah.
know there are other courses in which, but then we are solely specific just for IFRS. And then there are also other subjects as well, like, AFM, APM, for which AFM can be used like in IBs, APM can be used for like consulting or any other these things. So it can be extremely useful for you. Like these types of taxation, of course, you can go into taxation audits. It's always required. Every company needs to be audited. Every company needs to be taxed. Every company needs to be consulted, and every company needs to invest somewhere. So that's where we come in, right? So we can say that, yeah, ACCA, I know, like yeah, you cannot just call it a limited thing, but yeah, like you can use this as a tool to get jobs.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm saying that, you need to also develop other skills as well, like your interview skills for the job role that you want. You have to ensure that you also have other skill sets in order to get that job.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel that, ACCA can be extremely helpful. You can say that, it's an international chartered accountant. I mean, that's how we all introduce ourselves, right? So yeah, I mean, that is something which is important. And also I feel that the job market for ACCAs will increase, because if you look at the market abroad, I mean, many of the companies, they are getting laid off there. And
Yeah.
what is happening at many cases is that they are getting laid off in the home country, but they are bringing the operations to India, and that's where we will be required more. So I feel over the future, the demand for ACCA people will definitely increase.
I absolutely love the way that you have classified ACC as a niche qualification, considering that if it is niche, that means we have the expertise of IFRSs.
Yeah.
So if we have something which is exclusive to us, so whenever the need for experts of IFRSs arises, that's when
Mm.
the employers are going to look at
Looking
ACCA
at.
qualified people, and
Yeah.
they are going to ultimately give us the
Yeah.
jobs. So
Yes.
I absolutely love the way you classified it as
Yeah.
that. Which brings me to my last question for this podcast. The students will often message us asking Punya and I that, how much is your salary? How much are your, companies paying you?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that, giving away your exact compensation feels like a bit of a personal thing to do, but
Yeah.
just to give the students a basic idea that what can an ACCA fresher who's probably just qualified with the exams but has no work experience, what can
Mhm.
a person like that expect as the compensation?
See, a compensation, it can be like, it can vary.
Yeah,
All right, it can vary. As I
absolutely.
said, it depends on your skills and your interview skills. If
Hmm.
suppose if there's a person who has just done ACCA going for an interview, and if there's a person who has ACCA but also has other skill sets, let's say suppose advanced Excel, if he or she is able to explain, what is match index, what is pivot, all of this that I'm able to create, but the other person is not, obviously the person who has this advanced knowledge there will be a higher chance of him getting selected. Of course, every company has a budget, but then that can be negotiated, and that's where our interview skills comes in. We
Right.
can be like, I have this knowledge, and this is where I am standing out. But from what I have seen, like everywhere, an ACCA affiliate, like fresher, I think it's between 4 to 6 lakhs. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it will increase. It's not like it won't. But yeah, you don't have to be this thing. But yeah, do work on the skill sets for the job role that you're looking for. Please improve your interview skills. It can go up to more than 6 lakhs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, I have seen people that they have given interviews, and they have come up with, like, do you say, like 100, they have got an increase up to 100% salary
Wow.
increment. So it all depends on your interview skills. I think that's there. It's the way how you sell yourself, and that's where I go back to the part where I mean, I was being asked that if Indian CA firms is better or Big Four, but it's actually the firm. It doesn't matter. It's the job role. It's the interaction with the company.
Absolutely.
These type of interactions when you have in the firm, right, in your work, it will kind of help you understand a person's mindset, how what should be said, when you won't hesitate a lot, and uh, you won't hesitate, and you'll know exactly what to say
Mhm.
uh, at that moment. So, and your thinking process will also increase. So I feel that's where you will able to sell yourself and increase. You will get a higher salary as per that.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, so this brings us to the end of our conversation. Even though we think that, from the conversations that we were having, we can talk endlessly, but
Yeah.
all good things must come to an end. So, with this, we end our podcast. Thank you so much again for taking our time and doing this with us. We hope that the students who are watching this will gain better insights on how they can work upon their PER and all of the things that we just talked about. So, yeah, thanks once again, and we will catch you in the next podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you for this opportunity.